Hi, my name is the Grad Hacker and I help average graduates get onto high-paying graduate schemes. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 things that you should consider when it comes to choosing the right graduate scheme for you. Now, I would like to say that we'd all like to be in a position where we can choose whatever graduate scheme we want. Unfortunately, that's just not the case. Sometimes you have to take what you can get. Because graduate schemes are so hard to get onto and they're so competitive, you know, these things are nice to consider. This is the golden standard, I guess. But sometimes you've just got to take what you got to take. So I just want to preface this video with that. And if you are struggling to get onto a graduate scheme, then you can check out my Graduate X program, which is linked in the description below. It's a full step-by-step video course. Lots of people have been through it and absolutely love it. I share everything in there on how you can secure a high-paying graduate scheme this year. And I share with you all the stuff that I used. It took me 4 years to get onto my graduate scheme, and I just went through so much trial and error. And I share with you everything that worked in there, so you can check that out. So the 5 things that you want to consider, well, first thing is probably going to be salary. I keep it real with you always on my YouTube channel. There's loads of YouTube channels that just beat around the bush and just talk about random things that, quite frankly, no one gives a shit about. I'm going to keep it real with you. When it comes to graduate schemes, I want to know how much I'm going to get paid, right? Pay is the reason why we work. Pay is the reason why we go to work. If we didn't get paid, we won't be working. It's as simple as that. So you've got to look at the salary. It's got to be a good salary. Sometimes you have to make a compromise when you're struggling to get onto a graduate scheme. Like I said, the market is just so crap that there's too many graduates, and there's graduate schemes that just have all sorts of choice to go with someone who's willing to take absolute peanuts and promise the company the world. Like, they have a PhD, they have a master's degree, they have 10 years of experience from like a different country. They'll come in and they'll be applying to the same graduate scheme as you, and they'll get hired, and they're even because they are happy on a 28,000 salary, whereas you know that you're not worth £28,000, you're worth more like £35,000, right? So you've just got to keep that in mind. But salary is obviously definitely important, so you've got to look at the salary. Graduate schemes generally in the UK are very well paid. Some engineering graduate schemes, I feel as though they could do better. For some reason, they're not as well paid. Some of the smaller graduate schemes offer less money as well. So try and go for the big ones that offer the big bucks. It's going to keep you happy. It's going to keep the company happy. Probably a bigger company if they're offering that much money as well. And you're just going to end up as a winner. So look at the salary. Very, very important. Probably the most important thing, I'd say. Second thing you want to look at is the training opportunities that graduate scheme is giving you. So if there's anything other than the salary that you need to look at, which is just as important, I won't say it's as important as the salary, but it's definitely the second on the list, is training opportunity. What kind of training is that graduate scheme giving you? Because graduate schemes are designed to take in people that don't have any experience, that don't have much knowledge about that industry or that line of work, and they're designed to give you that experience and that knowledge. So if the training is shit, or they're just kind of like, oh, well, you're just going to shadow this person, kind of pick it up yourself, you might want to consider that, and you might want to have a think about that, because there might be other graduate schemes where there's like a full roadmap, right? In the first year, you're going to do this. Second year, you're going to do this. Third year, you're going to sit your exam. Those type of graduate schemes are really good, and that's what you want, because you're getting a structured program. It's like finishing uni and then just starting another uni where you're actually getting paid, which is the best case scenario for you. So you need to have a look at the training opportunity, have a look at the structure, what kind of training it is. If they don't have a lot of information about the training, which is highly unlikely in graduate scheme, by the way, they usually do. But if it's a smaller graduate scheme and they're just like, yeah, you know, you're going to be shadowing one of our, MDs or something, just consider that and make sure that you read into that. Ask some questions if you can, because that is not the ideal situation. It's you got to take what you got to take, like I said. But if you have a choice, you want to go for the graduate schemes that have a structured training plan, okay? Third one on the list is going to be rotations. So a lot of graduate schemes have different rotations, meaning they take you around the business, different parts of the business, and show you how those business parts run. You want to have a look and see what those rotations are. For example, in Network Rail, they take you, even as an engineer, they take you through the finance department, they take you through the tech department, they take you through the engineering department, obviously, they take you through the HR department, and then they ask you which part you like, and you can stick there. you want to have a look at those rotations, because you might actually end up liking something else. You might come in as a civil engineer and you might actually like HR. You like recruiting people, you like, you know, doing all these campaigns to hire people. You might want to go into that. So if the rotation wasn't there, you wouldn't actually go into that area. Yeah, so have a look at the rotations if you can. Usually it's in the job spec. They tell you, you know, in our graduate scheme you're going to go into this department, you're going to do 3 months here, 4 months here. You know, that's really good, because you get a very good overview of the business, and that makes you a good leader when it comes to going for like higher up roles, because you know how different parts of the business work. So rotations is the next one that you want to have a look at. Fourth one is going to be just the general industry, right? So I did a video last week about the top industries that you want to consider as a graduate applicant, and you just want to consider that general industry. You know, is it something that is in demand? For example, tech, IT. You can go watch that video. I spat out 5 there with, you know, some evidence and some not evidence, sorry, with from my experience and from the information that I've gathered from like friends and family. There was 5 that I mentioned in there. But you want to go into an industry that you know is going to serve you well. For example, you know, if you've come out with an arts degree, or you've come out with a psychology degree, and you're going into history, or you're going into, I don't know, music or something, there's a very slim chance that you're actually going to have a sustainable career in that. I'm not saying you can't, but in terms of like feeding your family and stuff 10 years down the line, probably not the industry that you want to be in. So make sure that you look at the industry, do your research on the industry, and make sure that there's always a demand for it. And number 5 is going to be location, and this is quite important as well. Look, there are certain schemes that are in the middle of nowhere in the UK, and you've just got to put up with it. They're not in the metropolitan cities. A lot of the big companies, like big schemes, consulting, those kind of things, tech, they're going to be in London. Finance, they're going to be in London. They're going to be in big cities, Leeds, Manchester, Birmingham, that kind of thing, Newcastle. But a lot of other schemes might not. For example, you know, just to give you an example, Rolls-Royce, it's got many different engineering schemes. It's based in Crewe. It's like, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Sky is like, it's not Sky, you know, Sky as in the like the TV guys. They're based in like some place out of London. I can't remember Osterley or something like that. And it's like, it's a few miles away from London, and it's just in the middle of nowhere, right? NHS is based in Leeds. So, you know, if you're from London, the head office is in Leeds, so you've got to consider that you might have to move. So you've got to consider the location. And the next thing with location is that you've also got to consider, going back to the first point, salary. You've got to consider the salary, because if you're living in London, your scheme's in London, and you're getting paid £2,000 a month, £1,000 of that is going into well, it's not even £1,000 now, like 1,200 is going into just hiring a flipping flat or living, you know, renting. You're not left with a lot of money, so you've got to consider the location as well. Maybe they call you up to Newcastle, where the cost of living is cheaper. They might pay you a little bit less, but the cost of living is cheaper, but you have a brilliant life because you're getting paid accordingly, right? So location is also something you've got to consider, and you've got to make sure that you know where you're going to be. Some of these graduate schemes, they move you around, so they might do 6 months in Birmingham, 5 months in London, 3 months in Leeds, you know, that kind of thing. So again, you've got to consider your options and see, okay, if I'm moving about, what is the company going to do to help me with that? Are they going to pay for my travel? They're going to pay for my hotel, or are they going to pay for my relocation bonus or anything like that? You've got to consider those things. Okay, so those are the 5 things you must consider when you're applying to graduate schemes, or when you're deciding which graduate scheme you're going to go for. Obviously, you want to apply to as many graduate schemes as you can. Regardless of these 5 things, you've just got to take things on the chin sometimes. But that salary, you've got to consider salary, like when it comes to any graduate scheme. Like if some graduate scheme is paying you £20,000 a year, run away. Don't even apply to that, right? So you've got to look at salary in every graduate scheme. But then you can look at the training opportunity, rotations, general industry that the graduate scheme is in, and then location, where is it based. Those are the 5 things that you need to consider for your graduate scheme. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope it was informative. Like I said, if you're struggling to get onto a graduate scheme, I'm here for you. You can check out the Graduate X program in the link in the description below. I'll show you step by step how to get onto a graduate scheme. I'll give you everything you need, and yeah, we'll speak there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.